On Giants. Mounds, Monsters, Myth and Man, or Why We Want to Be Small, by Brad Lockwood.
Copyright 2010, Brad Lockwood, all rights reserved.
Decades of documentation, dissertations, theories, and conferences all proved moot. Continuing with Wong, quote, "It turns out Turkana boy had a disease that constricted his spinal cord and is therefore not representative of the normal H. erectus condition," end quote. Basically, Meyer's findings showed that Turkana boy was the wrong subject for decades of doubting language capabilities among Homo erectus. Maybe our giant predecessors could intelligently interact after all. The recent finds on Flores and in the Republic of Georgia and Gibraltar have both invalidated and created decades of scientific work. And this presents us with a prodigious moment. Time for a blank slate, an entirely new look at who we are and where we come from. Creationists should restrain their enthusiasm, though. Yet another discovery, this one in Ethiopia and announced in September 2006, further undermines evolution's antagonists. The fossil of a young girl, 3 years old at the time of death, named Salam by her discoverers, meaning peace. She's 3.3 million years old, part human, part ape, walking upright but equipped with, quote, gorilla-like arms, end quote, and shoulders that suggest her immediate ancestors were swinging from trees. In light of these recent discoveries, and errors which have been perpetuating misperceptions far too long, hominids on Flores, Homo erectus in Georgia, and Homo Neanderthalensis in Gibraltar should be deemed new discoveries, opportunities as opposed to new truths. Will this sway those of faith? Probably not. Even a 3.3 million year old child named Peace may be ignored by those averse to the very concept of evolution, whether biological or theoretical. Still, some startling clues come from these finds, and one that specifically supports my own quest for giants. Hypothesized to be in response to the isolated environment on Flores Island, the hobbit hominids stayed small while rats grew rabbit-sized over time. Meanwhile, elephants shrunk by half, becoming pygmy stegodon. Adapting to available vegetation, climate, and island isolation, all wildlife on Flores seem to evolve to a unique size, best suited for survival. To survive, on Flores and in Cattaraugus County, New York, thousands of miles away but bearing similar genetic strands and basic needs, couldn't the earliest inhabitants have done the same? Western New York is no island, rather unconstrained wilderness, fertile land with plentiful wildlife. Even over 10,000 years ago, the ingredients for growth existed, mastodon included. Rich in bounty, larger, better for hunting and defending, stronger. When hunting a towering mastodon with lethal tusks for thousands of years, how couldn't the physique of the hunter slowly change? Fed, tools and protein, an extra foot or two taller, hundreds of pounds heavier, fat stored for slim times. Is that not natural? Again, speculation is not science. Akin to creationists and evolution, ask any historian and you'll find an aversion to predicting the future. But the recent findings on Flores, in the Republic of Georgia, and on the Rock of Gibraltar are all timely trump cards for anyone seeking alternative theories of early man, myself included. For, in addition to these finds abroad, others in Cattaraugus County have also hurled scientists and speculators into frenzy. Frederick Larkin+MD, a surgeon, watchmaker, as well as early antiquarian, mound excavator, and author in Cattaraugus County, offered the following tantalizing text in his 1880 book, Ancient Man in America.
In the year 1859, while exploring some tumuli in the vicinity of the Red House Valley, we found numerous singular and interesting relics. It was near this valley where was found one of the most interesting relics ever discovered among the works of the ancient inhabitants. It was a flat piece of native copper, 6 inches in length by 4 in width, artistically wrought, with the form of an elephant represented in harness engraved upon it, and a sort of breast collar with tugs on either side, which extended past the hips.
An elephant in harness? Mastodon more likely. The North American version of the mammoth, thought extinct some 10,000 years ago. A mighty mastodon in a harness, engraved on a piece of native copper unearthed in an ancient mound in my area, inferring domestication, dominance. We know Clovis man and mastodons were contemporaries. Was there an earlier Hannibal here?
Coming up next.
On Giants.
Theseus Apoleon Cheney was of broad interests: religion, abolition, early civilizations, and outspoken. Cheney, other than giants, is notable as the man, quote, who suggested the name Republican for the new party in 1854 in a speech in Conewango, New York, end quote. Frederick Larkin+MD was Cheney's opposite. The son of a respected surgeon and born in Connecticut, Frederick Larkin was Cheney's senior by 9 years and formally educated, following his father's footsteps but briefly abandoning medicine to pursue a career as a watchmaker. Arriving in western New York by 1841, leaving home but returning to his father's field, Larkin accepted the position of professor of physiology at the Randolph Eclectic Medical College, receiving his honorary M.D., in surgery most likely. Though opposites, Cheney, the self-learned local, and Larkin+MD, the newly arrived surgeon and professor, their union was the subject of antiquity. Surrounded by forts and mounds, remnants of an age long lost, the two were sure to enlist the aid of the Seneca, however biased.